Right there. This is like and I remember we were staying out at Grant's camp.
She's funny, she's smart, she's a she makes great art. She always thinks her brain and always she's or like gynecologist or my sister. That must make somebody Charlie Converse. There's a bunch actually. There's cheese and I'm glad you did that for us. Yeah. To the church, to the
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Just recently, he was, she had a big somebody happens, I don't working on his master's.
He was asked.
Yes.
Her husband and the kids, they were. Okay, guys.
Yeah. Girls up.
But they got into it, they were with Sarah. That's sad, this is what I love.
What else is there to say?
They all die from this shit.
And then crawling. And that was the game.
No, more people coming.
Thank you all for coming. I guess we're gonna have to use this mic up here.
How's that? Oh, that's, wow, that's really loud, isn't it? Okay.
Go ahead and I'll adjust here.
Okay. Well, in Pastor Jay's class, we learned that Jesus suffered. And Jesus suffered well. And Pastor Jay, I mean, he had always said that we will suffer in this life. And, you know, my mom did suffer, but my mom suffered well. I really believe that. You know, I remember when she had her aneurysm about 9 years ago. You know, she got her earthly miracle. And, you know, a lot of people thought that she wouldn't make it, but, you know, Mom took what she was given and she just ran with it, and she was wonderful. And then now, in February, when Mom had her diagnosis of cancer, you know, she suffered again. And she suffered well. But now she got her heavenly miracle. you know, God took her home. And my prayer was that if she wasn't gonna be restored, that God would take her home, because she wasn't living the life that she liked to live. My mom, she's wonderful, we all know that. But two things that I thought were so endearing about her, or two things that happened, and I just thought, oh, I would just love to just squeeze you because you are so sweet. I was listening to her talk on the phone one day, and I don't know who she was talking to, but she said, oh, she said, that would be swell. And I thought, to me, that was so precious, I just thought, you don't even know how sweet you are. That is so precious. And the second thing that I thought was so sweet was, after she had her first round of chemotherapy, she had a really good result. She was in the hospital for 10 days. But she got a great result, and we were on the way home, riding home, and it was Laura and myself were in the front seat, and Mom was in the back with Arlene, and Mom was she was in the back, she was just this little thing, and Laura's like, so Mom, who do you want to tell first? And she was just crunched, and she's like, I want to tell the whole world. It was so cute, and that was so endearing. Anyway, those are two things that stick out in my mind, but, Mom she was like no other. And, now she's, God took her home. God saw her home. So, anyway, thank you for coming and being a part of this, and, she loved everybody. She loved all of you so much. Next.
I don't really have anything prepared, but it's amazing how well, I knew my mom, and it's amazing how well I didn't know my mom. We visited quite often on the phone. Our ritual was we talked usually every Sunday, maybe every other Sunday, about many, many different things, and the conversation is always pleasant. And when she was afflicted with her cancer, and she went through her treatment and went through her trials, and I really, being the distance I am away from, or was away from Mom and Dad, I really, really have to thank Annie and Laura for really, really helping. That was really, really great. But when we visited, Mallory and I drove up about 8 weeks ago to be with Mom because she was placed at the Omega House. And I knew she had friends, but I didn't know she had that many friends. The constant stream of visitors and well-wishers, the stories that I was told about the difference that she made in somebody's life. In fact, there's an article on one of the poster boards out in the lobby that Hospice Person of the Year receives the award. It was my mother. I didn't see that until last night. Mom never said anything about it. She, even growing up, this is kind of go back, but anything that I did, and I'm sure Annie Laura was the same, if you played a sport and you did well, Mom was really happy that you did well, but she didn't think it was necessary to spike the ball. She never did. And what was amazing is that the people that she worked with, the people that she cared for, the people that she went to church with, people in her social circle was enormous. And so many good things that I found out she did, but she never, it wasn't important to her. She didn't need the credit or the recognition. Her life, I'm finding out, is kind of like an onion, that you start taking layers off and there's more layers beneath that, but it's all good. So Mom is with the Lord. This is a celebration of a life well lived. And what's amazing to me, I was sitting in the living room this morning, and I'm not the most patient person in the world. When I get something new, and if it comes with instructions, I'm the first one to never read the instructions. I always put them in the drawer, or else if I have a problem with something, then as a last resort, I look at the instructions and it usually tells me what I should have done, and then the world's a better place. On the coffee table, there's her Bible, worn and dog-eared. She read the owner's manual, and she lived it. So, thank you all.
Hey everyone, I hope I can get through this. Sorry. She was an angel. She was an angel. And, as my father was saying, being here and seeing the outpour of just good people and friends and family, she touched so many people, and I thought that she was just my amazing grandmother, but she was just so sweet. And it's been a blessing to kind of reconnect and get to know people that she loves so much. And, just hearing the memories and stuff is just adding to this wonderful person that I've always had in my heart, and I will cherish, all of your comments and, this time that we share together. There's a poem that the day that she passed that I found, and it's just been very comforting to me, so I'd like to share that. It's by Mary Elizabeth Fry, and it's called "Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep." Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sunlight on the ripened grain. I am the gentle on rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am a swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die. And she's around us. Her presence is ever here, and in every good deed that I do, she lives in those positive things that we give to other people, and I love her so much. And thank you all for your support, and everything.
Thanks for being here, everybody, and all this sharing that's going on is really nice and touching, and I'm glad that my oldest brother and then Anne went first, because I'm the youngest, so not as much as is expected from me. So, anyway, I just have a few things to share about my mom. My mom was one of the most unique and wonderful people I have ever known. And I've been lucky enough to have had as my mother and also a friend. My mom was nonstop with acts of kindness and giving. Yet it was always tricky when it came to giving to her. I used to tease her and say, "Mom, you can't be the only one to give. Other people need to know what giving feels like, and you need to learn to receive." But I have to say that I didn't see much change in her behavior after I, kind of tried to tell her to let it go both ways. And then the other thing I also told my mom was that she should also get in touch with her anger more, and just, get in touch with those other feelings and let stuff out. And her response to me would always be to listen politely, and then she wouldn't disagree or anything. And then we would just end up laughing about something and laughing more and more. So she didn't really change that behavior either. So and I'm glad she didn't, she was always just fun to talk with. And I mean, I could throw some out there ideas at her, and she was just so much fun to share with, because she never made me feel that I couldn't. And I'm just so grateful to have had her as a mom, and she was so lighthearted. I'll just, love her and miss her always, but the memories are just never ending, and I'm just really thankful for that. And if anyone else would like to share, please come up and share some of the stories. We'd love to hear them.
Oh, good evening. Carol was a very special, unique friend. And I think the most thing I loved about her was her sense of humor, which I like to share or have humor with people. But I think actually early with the Vesper service that we had on Sunday nights for many years, and she was the eldest lady there that we had to try to look up to. And she'd be there until 10:30 every night. I was always amazed how long she could stay and have that energy to help us through that. But even early in the days when I started coming to the church here, whenever there was a spot open to her, I'd love to sit with her, because you'd always end up giggling, even if it wasn't in church. She was always so fun to be with. But at the Vesper service, she had a unique role, and it was making the orange Juliuses. She was the queen of making the orange Juliuses for all the college kids. Of course, if Mrs. Johnson wasn't around, we could sneak and do other things, but she was always in charge. Carol would remind me. But we put this ice in there, and then she had a mixture of milk and sugar, and then she looked at me and she said, "Oh, did I put enough milk in there? Let's just add a little bit more." And then we'd be talking about something else. How much sugar should I put? Oh, I think I put it in there. Let's put some more. She was always telling us, so we never knew exactly what. But then once we made a batch, and she said, "I think I forgot the sugar." I said, "Well, let's just watch the college kids and see what their response is when they take their first sip." And we were just kind of laughing. We said, "We surely didn't put any sugar in that batch," because they made some really sound. So Carol was always a lot of fun. She had a heart, a servant's heart, helping so much, with those young people. And she was such a joy. And just washing dishes, she would just end up laughing all the time, even in that job. So during her last days, I had much thought and prayer for her. One day I was out I live on a farm and have cattle and sheep, and Carol always asked a lot of questions about the farm. She loved coming up, and I brought her out there and once to see the animals, and she always seemed so interested in that. So one day I was looking, and there was a young heifer. She's just like 5 months old, and she reminded me of Carol because she was kind of a dark brown and had the highlights hair on the back of the cow. So when I went up to the Omega house to visit her, so I was patiently waiting while some other people were there, and then I got a chance to talk to her. And so I just kind of asked her how she was and stuff like that. And I said, "Carol, I thought of you the other day, and I'd like to ask your permission for something special." And she said, "What's that?" in her low voice. And I said, "Well, there's only one person that probably could ask permission to do this, because most would take it as a insult, but I think you will probably like it." I said, "I want to name a young heifer after you." And she kind of giggled a little bit. But I said, "I do need to know your middle name. I don't know what your middle name is." And she giggled some more and she says, "Ethel." That's the first time I knew her middle name was Ethel. So then I said, "Well, I'll name the cow, my farm name is Snowland." I said, "Well, name it Snowland Carol Ethel." And then she kind of giggled and she looked at me in a soft voice. She said, "That would be so generous of you," she said. So I did get the certificate just the other day. I promised Laura that I would get that for you. And a picture of Snowland Carolyn is actually what I named her. So, thank you.
I think I, like all of you, have so many thoughts going through my head, so many stories that I could go on all night. But I think I look at Carol as a sister, more than a sister-in-law. I was in the family, we were in the same family for 53 years. And spent almost all of our holidays together, and we didn't have a crossword. I started thinking, and I was like, I can't think of an argument or a crossword that she and I ever had. And it was kind of understood that holidays were coming. There weren't many of them, and there weren't many of us for most of the holidays, so we would kind of even forget that a holiday was coming, and about 3 or 4 days before we'd say, she'd call or I'd call and say, "It's Thanksgiving next week. Okay, maybe I'll make the turkey. Okay, I'll do the pies." I mean, that's the way it was. It was just like cooperation through the years that I have lots of memories of those days. think one of the special things of Carol is we think of, we took many trips together, shopping trips. It'd be Ann and Molly and Carol and me. And we'd go to Appleton a weekend before Christmas. And we had, I mean, the babies came and grew up, and we'd still be going to Appleton each year, and it would be, I remember one year, Molly would tell this story if she were here. She said, we were in the motel room, and Max was a baby, and he had croup that night. And Carol said that, how about if I go in the bathroom with him and turn on the shower, and we'll get that steam going. So not the grandmother, not the mother, but here was Carol, the great aunt, sitting up all night with that baby in her arms in the bathroom, taking care of him. It was the cutest thing. We would have fun. We'd come on our way home, we'd say, well, we would talk about our bargains that we got. We got so many bargains. So one year we said, well, we're not going to go home and tell the guys how much we spent. We're going to tell them how much we saved. I remember one year we were on our way home, and we were like in Crystal Falls, and we stopped at a gas station and went in, and there was this older couple that were stranded there. Their car conked out on the way, and they were trying to figure out how they were going to get back to home that night or the next morning. They didn't know what they were going to do. And Carol and I put our heads together, and she looked at me and she said, I think they will fit. So we got to just hear her say that. Yeah, I think they will fit. So there was Ann and Caitlin and these two people in a real small back seat of our car. And we brought them right to their house. They showed us where to bring it. But one thing about Carol, I just remember, I mean, her generous spirit. I had to be real careful when I would go there. I had a hard time, if you complimented her on something, you'd most likely go home with it. So I always kind of was nervous about saying I like a dish or I like something, because most likely I'd when I'd get ready to leave, she'd say, Duffy, I think you should have that. You should take that home with you. You remember that, Laura? Does that stay with you? So I got kind of careful about that. In the summer, a funny thing happened. She knew that Russ and I liked, she would often have cinnamon rolls from Amy J's. And she would, they'd stop and get rolls quite often. And she knew that I liked them and Russ liked them. But I would never take them from her. I just, would take one or something. And then one day she told me, she said, I wonder if you'd do me a favor. I said, what is that? And she said, I wonder if you'd go and get some rolls from Amy J's. I've already called there, they've got them, they've got some. If you could get 2 packages, and she wrote her check. And I kind of suspected maybe I was buying my own rolls, but I didn't know for sure. So I took her check and said, yes, I'll go down and do that. So I went and picked up my rolls. And sure enough, when I got ready to go, she said, Duffy, I wonder if you would take those rolls home. So that's the way she was. And not only that, when Molly and Tom went to visit her when she was in the hospital in Marquette, she was in terrible pain. Back in February, she was in terrible, terrible pain, and she was having that procedure done. And Molly and Tom went from Iron Mountain to the hospital to see them and be with them. And said Molly said she could see she was in just terrible pain and getting her gown on and in the bed and saw them come. Well, then Molly and Tom said, we'll go and buy some sandwiches for you and bring them back. And she said from way in the corner, a weak voice in the bed came this voice that said, Molly, I'd like to treat. So that was just so classic Carol. She had a treat. So we're all going to miss her. We're all going to miss her and her generous and caring. One more little story that how predictable she was in her generosity. Russ and I had been going, to the Texas-Mexico border for 8 years, and always about a week before we would leave, she would tell me out of the blue, Duffy, I want to take you out to eat before you go. And I'd say, okay, where do you want to go? Well, we always went to Applebee's, shared the same salad each time. And before we'd have a nice visit, and before I left, she'd always dig in her purse and she'd give me a little envelope with some money to use in Mexico. So there were many, many things, but those are a few things that I wanted to share with you tonight about our good friend and sister.
This is getting so repetitive. Everybody comes up here and tells you what a great mother and wife you had. But she was a special lady. I don't think I know anybody kinder than she was. She never had a bad word to say about anybody. It's not like there weren't plenty of things to say because she could have. But just for you to know that God chose to give her to you, and you had her for a wife, and a mother, and a grandmother, and how blessed, how tremendously blessed you are. Those of us who knew her have been blessed too, but you got a special gift. And even more than that, we all get to see her again. And she was one of Mark's mother's best friends, and how much her friendship meant to Naomi. And I think it's just so exciting that they can be together now. But the thought that we can all see her again, and she won't be in pain. Thank you for sharing her with us.
Steve, thanks for sharing about Vespers, because who likes to laugh more than Carol? You know, I mean, Steve was a part of it, Gail, myself, and that's what I was always teasing her about the duck that were left on the plates. And she would laugh when I would say that, because if you know what that is, that's leftovers left on the plates, and they'd say, Carol's washing away in the sink, and I'm drying, and I'm saying, Carol, there's buckets left on this plate. Oh, and she would laugh, and I'd give it back to her. So almost every Sunday we had Vespers, I would always bring that up to tease her, and she would laugh. I remember the one time there was water on the floor, and of course I had to mention that Carol was laughing so hard that she had an accident back by the kitchen sink there. Oh, talk about that. So those are the good memories. You know, like Gail said, she was so close to my mother. I remember the cards they used to share, like birthday cards. Some were a little on the edge, I can't bring them up, but oh, my mom would find a doozy for Carol, and she would show it to me. And Carol would do vice versa. I'd read my mom's cards, and your mom would come up with a real good one for my mother. So she was fun. She was fun. And of course, she's not here tomorrow to make her famous rice pudding, because I always look forward when I came to the funerals or whatever the event is, a wedding or whatever, because there's Carol's plate of rice pudding. And she is well known for that. So Lots of good memories.
Okay, we went down to the camp party. Me and her went down to the beach. Me and her playing at the beach tent, and the sunlight. Me and her was soaking the water in there. I help out, and all the kids, and then do the lifeguards and stuff for the beaches for a picnic. People had fun outside, and then I went to the lunchroom to help out with the food and stuff. And Carol told me to do the dishes. I helped her out with the dishes. And I cleaned up, and then I helped out with the food. He said, take a snack home and play. He always called me Rainbow. I was a little boy.
Well, I was lucky enough to meet Laura, who introduced me to George and Carol, and that was 25 years ago. There were so many things that were wonderful about meeting her too. She was so different from the family I grew up. I grew up in a quite aggressive, argumentative family who they seemed to argue about anything and confront one another and judge everybody. And all of a sudden, here's Carol, you couldn't get an argument with, and she was making no judgments. And it was just, it was a new thing for me. And I realized I flatlined about 10 years ago down in Florida, and all of a sudden, Carol flies down. And everybody in my family was having an anxiety attack. And Carol would come into the room, hospital room, intensive care, and she had this peaceful smile on her face. And she'd say, Ron, do you want me to rub your feet? And I was aware enough to look down and realize my feet were black. But she was willing to rub those black feet. And as she told Laura, it would take a miracle for him to recover. And I'm here, and I think it might partly be due to Carol's kind prayer. At any rate, it was just so much fun, but she was also, everybody talks about fun, she was deep. She knew a lot of stuff that I didn't know in terms of accepting people and enjoying them. And yet, yes, she could have fun. We had a wonderful time. And George, Carol, and I would sit at the piano. And as you probably know, she's a good piano player. But we would try to play duets, and I would, of course, always screw it up. But the worse we got, the more she'd laugh. And then George was trying to pull it together because he's got a good voice. And we spent a lot of evenings having a good time, George. And I think that when I, even now, I get angry, I sometimes think, you know, what would Carol do? And all of a sudden I realized that having those negative emotions didn't appear for Carol, and they wouldn't have to appear to me anymore. And I have a lot to give thanks to Carol for, and I love
Carol was probably one of my longest friends. We knew each other before she was married, etc. Just a darling. Always, so much fun. And then I saw another side of Carol too when Bob was in the Houghton County Medical Center there with rehab. So many of those people remembered Carol, and they'd say, "Oh, you're Carol's good friend." And one lady said to me, "You know, when my husband died," she said, she knew how bad I felt. And one day the doorbell rang, and there was Carol with her famous rice pudding. And I said, "That's Carol." She said, I could just see her do that to someone who felt that they didn't really know her that well, and she would care that much about them. How neat. That was Carol. She was special. And then she was always fun. That girl, she could giggle like no one ever did, and she could get others giggling too. And one time, some people were quite rude to us, and I was crabbing about it to Carol, and Carol just said, "Oh, well, you know, maybe they've had a bad day." And I said, "Carol, do you ever get mad?" And she said, she looked over her glasses and she said, "Oh, well, sometimes I might say, oh, it." And that was so dear of her. That's about it. She would not get, she never had a bad thing to say about anybody. I wish I had a virtue like that. I mean, that is something God-given, and that is something I'll always remember about her.
These stories are awesome. You know, I mean, once again, we all could sit here and we could repeat what a wonderful lady she was, because it's absolutely true. We celebrate, and I love how your family has picked up on celebrating her life, because she had a life that was amazing. She was an individual as a young pastor that I truly appreciated, because she was an elder, but she had that sense of humor, where you could sit and you could laugh with her, and yet you could still speak about spiritual things with her. And her concern for each and one of her family members, her loved ones, was so deep and so amazing. She would literally, when we could steal a moment when the crowds weren't around her during her illness, she'd say, "Pastor, we need to pray for this one, this one." And that to me was awesome, because that was her love. She had this love and desire to share and to encourage people and allow people to live their life in freedom. And that's exactly what she saw, as Christ offered freedom, where you could have this joy and live in this victory. Your mom wasn't afraid of that. Not for one moment. I laugh over Steve speaking about the making of those orange Juliuses. Well, you know, I'm smart. You know, I come in and I start helping as a young pastor, and she was making orange Juliuses one night, and like he said, sometimes we laughed so hard I got nervous that maybe she'd have a heart attack laughing or something, because it was to the point where she couldn't stand. And so you'd start laughing with her. Well, she was trying to get this orange Julius, the thing off of the blender, and she couldn't get it off. And I told her, "Carol, just twist that thing." And she said, "Oh, no, Pastor, I can't twist it, you know?" And I said, "Just give it a good twist." So she twists and pulls, and the whole bottom came off. And she is laughing and laughing, and she says, "Well, we're not going to ask who to make margaritas." So needless to say, she never took my advice anymore about making orange Julius. You know? And so I marveled many, many times, as either Mark or Steve would share, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, that she would be here serving. And that was her heart. I don't have to say it to you, you know. But what really struck me is not long ago, Anne was bringing her to church, and we had a potluck. And Mother was in a wheelchair. And yet, she was wheeled into the corner, and she had hardly any hair, and she's sitting in her wheelchair, wiping silverware. That was her joy. Tom, you're right. Your sisters are amazing. Understand, distance is very, very difficult, and just know that is no bearing. Your mother loved you immensely, spoke of you every time we got together. Annie, your service to your mother was amazing. You've been extremely strong. Praise be to God for that strength. Laura, you also. And I always saw your mother improve so greatly whenever you guys were around. You did absolutely everything you could for her, and she knew it. In fact, I truly believe that she lasted this long because she had that desire for you guys. George, you stayed by her side through this whole thing. It was encouraging. It's a difficult thing you went through, but yet you loved her right to the very end, and you will continue to love her. But our greatest joy is by the faith in Jesus Christ, how we will, as it's been spoken, be able to see her once again. May we be encouraged by that, and may Brother Arvo be encouraged tomorrow even to bring such a powerful message of joy, of victory, and yes, rightful mourning for a beautiful woman that God has blessed us with. So I'm going to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing us to share in this time with you. Thank you for allowing your doors to be open that I could go and give communion or pray. Whatever it was, thank you. And we just lift you all in prayer and ask that you would be encouraged even through this time, because it is a victory.
I want to just say something to my brother. About 10 years ago, I found an old CD by Tennessee Ernie Ford. And I made a lot of copies for different people. Just a great, great album, and I wish I had the voice to sing that ninth song on there, George, but I know someday when you're at home and you can put that on your clothes, listen to the ninth song on that CD. It says, loving her was easier than anything I'll ever do again.
And all the Vesper saw her in the kitchen, have a smoothie machine, and the pastor, the girl, was in there, help her with the machine. Machine broke down, and my shirt got caught in the machine, and then trying to get it out, and trying to plug it. I just don't get electrocuted. I just walk away, and some girl going to work, he took it off, and smoothie went floated over the table. And he said, I'll help him clean it up. And my finger got stuck in there, almost got my finger cut in the machine. And Carol said, give me a Band-Aid, I got a little cut. He gave me Band-Aid and all that, and it healed up. And he said, he remembered that, and all that was there. You get to enjoy business, and in that minute, I think about it, I pray for every time, and then I miss her too much. Be my sunshine all my life. You call me a little rainbow, white smoothie. Amen.
I should not wet my fingers, but I don't have that much of a feeling in my fingers, so it helps to turn the page if you wet them. Sitting there and listening, and the starting words that Anne gave, her mother being a servant. And it was like encouragement to me through hearing others that, Arvo, you also can share something. For he who loves is a servant. And I would like to read the 13th chapter of 1 Corinthians in her honor. If I speak in the tongues of men and of angels but have not love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains but have not love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and surrender my body to the flames, but have not love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part, but when perfection comes, the imperfect disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, O godly woman, I put aside childish ways. Behind me, now we see but poor reflection as in a mirror, but then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. The greatest of these is love. Would you mind if I sing?
No.
I have, across the years, received encouragement that Arnold can't sing, and I'm deadly frightened at times when I sing. Ron, until I'm not sure if Ron is here, Ron, at sometimes at the gravesite, I ask permission to sing or share a song. And Ron has encouraged me and said, Arvo, you have a gift. The gift that, if I may be so bold as to say, I don't see it so much as a gift of singing so properly. I think that in some ways the greatest gift is that you sing with your heart. And we realized that when we listen, people, and even hear the sermons, that there is much to the spirit that is in person. And that is so enriching. It's not in knowledge, or knowledge oftentimes puffs up, but it is what comes with a broken crown and a heart that Jesus has put together. And that is well-tuned instrument, regardless of where his voice is heard. So I will sing. You pray for her. Okay. A sermon song in a way, not the one that we heard just a couple of Sundays ago here at the church, but the one that is in many ways my favorite, and applying this to Sister Carol's life. Oh, for Jesus, oh, for Jesus, all my being, ransom powers, all my thoughts and words and doings, all my days and all my hours. Oh, for Jesus, oh, for Jesus, all my days and all my hours. Oh, for Jesus, oh, for Jesus, all my days and all my hours. Let my hands perform his bidding, let my feet run in his ways. Let my eyes see Jesus only. Let my lips speak forth his praise. Oh, for Jesus, oh, for Jesus, let my lips speak forth his praise. Oh, for Jesus, oh, for Jesus, let my lips speak forth his praise. Since my eyes were fixed on Jesus, I've lost sight of all beside. So enchain my spirit's vision, looking at the crucified. Oh, for Jesus, oh, for Jesus, looking at the crucified. Oh, for Jesus, oh, for Jesus, looking at the crucified. Oh, what wonder, how amazing, Jesus, glorious King of kings, deigns to call me his beloved, bids me rest beneath his wings. Oh, for Jesus, oh, for Jesus, resting now beneath his wings. Oh, for Jesus, oh, for Jesus, resting now beneath his wings.
Beautiful.
Is there anyone else that would like to say anything? If not, thank you so much for everything. And I guess with that, we can go on our way. And the service will be tomorrow morning, visitation starting at 10 o'clock, Ms. Randall, and the funeral will follow at 11. So thank you. Bless you all.
promised some coffee.
Yes.
No, that's all right.
All right, thank you.
What it is, well, Cheryl.
No,